Okay, welcome if you are watching this. My name is Kieran, I lead the multi-schools, and I've got Harry with me. And Harry and myself are just going to do a few short videos talking about sport. So Harry, do you want to just say hello to everyone?
Hello everyone.
So we've decided to do this because Harry leads the multi-schools football club, as some of you who are watching this might be part of. But we haven't been able to run the sessions recently for many different reasons. And obviously Harry is very passionate about sport, and we felt it would be a good way to keep him in contact with some of those that do attend. So we're going to talk about a few different things each time, and we're going to focus today on the FA and the guidance that they've just put out around disability football. And I know, Harry, from speaking to you before the recording, it's something you're quite passionate about. So I guess over to you, first of all, Harry, really, what are some of the things that you want to mention about the guidance?
I think the guidance, for starters, it is progressive in some ways. Like you've got blind girls football coming in now, girls cerebral palsy football coming in now for national teams, and more opportunities around that. Then you've got partially sighted football, amputee football for girls, which is really good. The thing I've had a problem with for I think years now since is there's nothing really representing neurodivergent football. So you've got autism in neurodivergence, you've got learning difficulties such as ADHD and dyslexia and things like that. And, you know, real social impairments. We had, a learning difficulties England team, like years ago. They even won the World Cup in 2004, you know. But in 2015, I think it was, the FA decided to stop funding it because the FA really, in speaking like this, hadn't bothered to arrange a game for them in 5 years.
Wow.
They didn't. And this is what I have with this, you know, this new FA guidelines. It's really progressive, but still ignoring neurodivergencies. You know, like I'm fine with being inclusive and all that. I preach inclusivity, but you can't do every disability on the planet and then think, now autistic people will be all right with mainstream football. They need to understand that social impairments are just as bad as other impairments.
Why do you think they don't support it then, Harry? What is the reason then for them not supporting, you know, all football? Why don't they support those with autism, ADHD, other learning challenges that you spoke about there, Harry? What's the reason, do you think?
I think it's almost a societal thing that, you know, you get those stereotypes that, you know, you see someone park into a disabled space, they're obviously walking, and you think, well, they're not disabled, but they could be, couldn't they? They could be. They could have autism. They could have mental health issues, because you can now get a disabled badge by having mental health issues as well. You know, it's that same mentality of, if I can't see it, it doesn't really matter that much. And they think, you know, autistic footballers, you know, there's nothing really, you know, not wrong in their footballing ability. Like, they haven't got an impairment, a physical impairment, so it won't affect their football. But what they don't understand is the social side in football. Mainstream clubs are mostly, you know, they employ volunteers to run them in this country, you know, and who's to say that they have the training and understanding in autism? You know, no one's really taught autism. Even in the football world, I've been to a FA level 1 recently. It was all about physical impairments, not about autism, you know, social impairment, autism, that, you know, learning difficulties. So I think it's a societal understanding, really, that not many people, you know, care, really, I don't think.
Yeah, and that's probably the sad truth of it, is that maybe there is people who care, Harry, but maybe they're not sure where to go with it because they don't have the understanding, like you said. So if you were writing the plan, Harry, you and maybe some others that attend the football club or have helped, lead the football club in recent years, what sort of type of things would you include in that plan to ensure that it was fully inclusive to all types of young people?
Do you mean like if I was running the FA side of things?
Yeah, if you were in charge of the plan. So I know we've spoken about how the plan is, it's doing quite a lot for physical impairments, and as you said, that's great and it is needed. But what about those that you said, for instance, for a mainstream club, like you said, socially there could be some challenges there, and you've done a great job setting up the multi-schools football. So what would you like to see more of, more being done for children with autism and other learning needs?
First of all, I think I'd make it mandatory for every coach on every coaching course. Well, when I was on level 1, there was coaches that had been coaching for 10 years without a coaching license.
Right. Okay.
So I'd make it mandatory you have to have a coaching license and some sort of training to actually run a club, volunteer or not. If you can't have a manager's position or anything, if you're a volunteer, you can just help out. I'd only make it that, and I'd make it that FA level 1 had a whole day on disabilities. So you've got these weekly seminars now. I'd make it that you have a whole seminar on disabilities and understanding disabilities, and a whole class on that, and how you include them in football, how you be inclusive, and then autistic people would be able to thrive in mainstream clubs as well as if they needed to go to a pan disability club. I'd also make it that there was a pathway for autistic for every impairment, and more important, and as well as autistic and learning difficulty football. I'd make sure it's funded. I'd make sure they'd get games, not every 5 years. Make sure they'd get games. I'd make sure there was a fair system. There was a fair pathway system, like there used to be things that I was involved in Ipswich Town and that's Suffolk FA back in the day, which was a PDC, which was a player development pathway. That would develop you from when you're 12 to 16, and would develop you right through until you can reach national stages, so you could play for England.
Yeah.
But I would make sure that the Centre of Excellences that are funded, like the Cerebral Palsy Centre of Excellence, Partially Sighted Centre of Excellences, there wasn't Learning Difficulty Centre of Excellence. There was a Centre of Excellence for every impairment. And people would get passed on to this Centre of Excellence. So like a PDC, but it would be called a Centre of Excellence as well. Yeah. And then I would make sure that, just make sure that, every coach is trained, every child feels included in football and can thrive in football.
Yeah, and that's a statement we should really strive towards, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think you and obviously your dad and all those coaches as well involved with the Multi-Schools Club have done a great job in making sure that no matter who turns up on a Saturday morning, you make sure you include them, whether that's a physical impairment or whether that's kind of other kind of areas of need. What has the Multi-Schools Club done then, do you think, Harry, to make sure that everybody can be included? Because we probably sit and think it's not that difficult, but others might really struggle. What kind of things do you think, that does make everybody feel included?
I think the key word is patience and being relaxed about things, and being, and striving not for the big achievements, but you can get to those big achievements, but we'll always make it at every section you've achieved something in yourself in some way. So we've had a kid before that just sat and watched. He just sat and watched. But one day I saw him kicking the ball about with someone, and I saw that as progression. Now, in mainstream football clubs, they possibly wouldn't be as patient with this child. Possibly like, well, why is he here if he's not going to play?
Yeah.
But what people have got to understand with SEN children and autistic children, it takes a lot for them to even get out the door. it takes a lot for them to even get out the door and get on that grass and kick a football about. That's their achievement. So really, with the Multi-Schools Council, we just want to make sure that every kid enjoys themselves. We've had kids before, just play on the grass, start diving around on the grass. We don't care as long as they're enjoying themselves and they're happy. It's a football club for all. And also, we don't want to be standing there going, "Oh, you should have scored that Timmy, you should have assisted that one. You had a pass right there." We don't want to be moaning at anyone. And if we miss that, we'll go, "Do you know what? If you'd passed it, that would have been really a good assist." And it's taking a calm approach to these players that you see coaches and then go, "Oh, that was rubbish, Timmy. You should have passed it over there." But really, what you could do is go up to them really patiently and go, and this is with every kid as well, because no kid likes to be shouted at and told what to do. You're not going to get a good response out of anyone doing that. Just go up to them and go, "Do you know what? You could have done that there." And that's what I see differently. You'd be really good. And that is a key word. It would be amazing. You're already doing amazing. You praise them first because they have done amazing. They might not have done that pass, but the run to that part, everything else they did was amazing. So you start with the praise. You go, "That was amazing, Timmy." But, he was wide open there. So if you'd have passed that, that'd have been a beautiful assist. So just think about that next time. That's the perfect way to deal with kids.
So it's that the words that you've said there quite a lot. So you started by saying about the patience and obviously the fact that enjoyment is really, really important. And also just it's your language then from what you're saying. The language you use with children, whoever's playing, is so, so important and key. And that's what you'd like to see more of, I guess.
100%. Yeah.
You mentioned at the start, and we will just chat about it briefly before we finish this video, is that obviously we haven't been able to run the sessions through the multi-schools at the moment because of COVID and the facilities that we were using, not being able to use them at this time because, again, of the impact on COVID on schools and the types of children that are coming along to the session. So, when we do get back up and playing again, Harry, which we will at some point, what do you want to see from the club next? Where do you want to see the club going?
Do you mean like when we start up or like in the future?
Yeah, and if, like you said, it's small steps, so it could just be the fact you just can't wait to be back playing on the pitch again. But I thought I'd give you the chance just to say, where do you see the multi-school going?
I think we can, before lockdown and everything, we were aiming to include some games, weren't we? And we were aiming to face other teams because I think we were ready. We were like developing as a team, especially we were really developing. We were playing amazing football. We were learning a lot of things, but obviously that got halted. We started again in the summer, got halted. But I'd say in the future, I'd like to see us play some games after we've got the club up and running, and I'd like to see us compete in some leagues that we can, and just all I want to see from us is to when we're back is to smiles on kids' faces and them to enjoy their football. And that's all I care about.
Yeah, no, brilliant. And as we say, that word patience again, we are trying hard to look at different options to try and bring the club back safely, and we will continue to put out information as and when we have it. But we are all very keen to keep things going. It just has to be done in a very safe way. So thank you very much, Harry, for this first chat. It's been really good to speak to you. And I think in our next video, we're going to talk a bit more about kind of mental health and how football and activity can link to that, because that's something you want to talk about next. So thank you very much, Harry.
Thank you.